So today is June 15, 2019. It's a few days after I got my port put in, so that's healing nicely. I've just been taking it easy and resting, and I've had quite a day today, both physically and emotionally. It's been a day, and I'm a little tired, and my breathing is a little labored. I'm starting to get little heart flutters. I suspect that my hemoglobin counts are going down, so getting a little winded faster and stuff like that. I have a doctor's appointment on Monday, and they'll do my labs and they'll see what's going on, and maybe I'll get some red blood, get an infusion, and hopefully I'll feel a little bit more energy. Other than that, I'm feeling pretty good. I have no pain anywhere. I'm pretty relaxed because any kind of movement, too much movement, moving around, walking, even standing, kind of brings on the heart flutters and the coughing. So I'm just doing a lot of resting today, a lot of sitting, and I've been doing a lot of sitting and resting for a while now. A lot of contemplating as well, a lot of just trying to make sense of everything and trying to stay open to what's happening, trying to not be attached to any kind of outcome, trying to really stay in the moment. But something very strange happened today, so I wanted to chronicle that. Something that's never happened before. For a while now, I've been trying to ignore the messages that I've been getting as far as what I'm supposed to be doing, what my purpose is here. And I feel like I've been definitely getting messages, but the truth is I kind of had a feeling what they were, but I didn't want to listen because it scared the hell out of me. Again, this whole theme of fear, which is a major theme in my life, has been in my life. Always fear. You know, on one hand, I've always felt like I was meant for something really big and something important, and I'm not talking in a material sense, in the worldly sense, like fame and fortune and all that. Nothing like that. But that my life was meant to mean something. Like it definitely had a force of a purpose. Not that it's any more important than anyone else's. It's not. We all have a purpose. Just most of us go through our whole lives without knowing what it is or without listening to that voice. But what happens when you hear that voice and you're just too scared? You know, you start doubting. You start saying, who, me? I can't do that. I'm not good enough. Like, you must mean someone else. Like, what can I do? I'm just little me. So I pretended that I didn't hear a voice. And I really feel like that's why the cancer came back. It was just God, universe, source, spirit, essence, whatever name you want to call it, it's all the same thing, was trying so desperately to get my attention. And I just wasn't having it. So I feel like this is my last shot to get it right. And I can't ignore it anymore. I can't, because now my life is at stake. So I feel like the first time a year ago that I got diagnosed with cancer, and it just happens. Everything happens so fast. There was no time to react. There was no time to process. There was no time to weigh options. I was diagnosed. The following day, I was in the hospital. I mean, there was just, I wasn't against any of it because I didn't know, and it felt like that was the right thing to do, and I felt like my doctor was the right doctor, the hospital was the right hospital, everything seemed right, and I felt very strongly about that through the whole process. I was in a hospital for a month, and I have to say, it was one of the best experiences of my life in the most positive way, and I am so grateful for that experience. Grateful for all the wonderful people that I met, for all the nurses, for everybody who took such good care of me. I mean, people were so kind to me, so, so kind. I've always lived with the motto, people suck. and and having that experience just really showed me another way. And and the cancer was gone. So I was told that the cancer was gone at the end. It wasn't much of a, it felt like even my doctor said, like, your cancer was kind of wimpy, kind of wimped out, like it didn't even put up a fight. And never through the whole time when I was in the hospital or when I was doing outpatient chemo, um, the thought of not being okay never entered my mind. I wasn't in denial. It wasn't positive thinking. It was just what was. It was just truth. It was the fact. Like I was going to be fine. There was never another thought in my head. So my healing was fast, and my body responded, and like I said, it was a wonderful experience. And there were things that happened during my stay at the hospital that kind of let me know that it's where I was supposed to be. It was exactly where I was supposed to be. I tried to communicate with people who wanted to know how I was, so I posted a couple of things. I wrote a couple of things while I was at the hospital, and the response to those writings were just so positive and so like, wow, you really made me think, or this is a totally different way of looking at this, or it just, I don't know. And it's funny, after the latest one of the writings that I wrote, was kind of humorous. It was towards the end of my stay, so I was already feeling better, but I was kind of having a bout of insomnia at the hospital towards the end, so I was pretty much up for like 5 or 6 days straight, all day and all night. My body just didn't want to go to sleep. I don't know what was happening. My doctor said that maybe your body's just regenerating, so fast that it's just full of energy and it doesn't need to rest. Who knows? I don't know. But all these things were going through me, so I wrote. It wasn't, and I got people texting me like the following day saying stuff like, I didn't know you were a writer. You're such a good writer. Oh my goodness, this was funny, and this was this, and this was touching, and I had no idea. And I just kind of read that and go, I don't know how to write. I'm not a writer. That wasn't me writing. I didn't say that because it would have sounded strange, but that's really how I felt. I didn't write that stuff. Yes, I physically typed it. Yes, but it wasn't me. It wasn't Sophie who was writing. Something else was coming through. I was just a channel for it, you know? The writing was coming through. There was a message that needed to come through, whether it was uplifting, funny, whatever it was, it needed to come, and all I did was I was just the physical vehicle for it. I just helped it come here. And that is really how I felt. So then I thought, maybe that's why I was there. Maybe it was just for that. Maybe that was the purpose of all of it. So when I got out of the hospital and my doctor told me after the very last biopsy, I'm cancer free, you're good to go, hope I never see you again type thing. Um, that was it. I was kind of like, oh, great, now I can get on with my life. And then I had a really hard time getting back to my life. And I just figured because, she told me it's going to take a whole year for your body and everything else to kind of come back together. So I just thought, well, maybe it's just, hormonal. Maybe, I blame everything on menopause. When I first got diagnosed with cancer, I blamed it on menopause. So again, I'm just like, it's just menopause. It's just menopause. It's hormonal. It's this. It's that. I went through a little bout of depression, nothing major, but I just I never quite got 100% better mentally or physically. I'd say I was about 80% towards the very end. Yes, my body recovered and I exercised and I put on weight and all that was good, but there was just something that was nagging at me, like you're not doing it. You're missing it. You're missing it. And I just kept saying, I need to rest. I need to rest. I can't start any new projects. I can't even think about anything. I just need to let my body rest. And I convinced myself that that's what I wanted. That's what I needed to do. And I prayed and I meditated. And even though I prayed for God to use me, like what do you need me to do? What can I do? How can I be of service? What can I contribute to this life, to this world? I was so hesitant asking that question. And I kind of half-assed asked it because I was so afraid of the answer, because I was so afraid that the answer was going to be something that I didn't think I could do. And then what? If you feel like God is talking to you and you're going, no, thank you. Well, shit, nothing good can come of that, that's for sure. And I feel like, and that's not God punishing you in any way, by the way. I don't feel that at all. That's your own resistance standing in your way, your own self-sabotage, your own mind telling you you're not good enough. Why would God want you for anything? Like, who are you? And that's just such baloney because me and everyone else equally, we are magnificent. We are, sorry, we are so powerful and we are meant for greatness. That is our birthright. Every single one of us is meant for greatness. It's all individualized. Everyone has their own tasks. Everyone has their own path. No one is more important than anyone else, but no one is less important than anyone else. And it's that feeling of, I'm not good enough. It can't possibly be me. Please ask someone else. I feel like that's why my cancer came back. Because I wasn't living my truth. I didn't know what it was. I really didn't. I didn't really get the answers clearly because I didn't quite ask the questions clearly enough because I was so afraid of the answer. So I can't say I got a definite answer and I just said no. It was just this nagging feeling that you're not living your life. You're not being yourself. You're not who God created you to be. You're cowering. You're cowering. You're counting on your own strength, of which, and no wonder you're afraid. Who are you? You're just a little person. That's how we feel most of the time. And even the people who are called saying, who we say they have big egos, who think they're awesome, they think they're grand and stuff like that, they don't really feel that way. They're just trying to cover up how scared they are. It's all the same thing. we just don't see the truth of who we are. We just don't, because we're conditioned from very early on to feel little and unimportant and separated. And it's, every man for himself, and it's just disconnection from God, from everyone else. That's just it. It just makes life so hard and so full of suffering. So anyways, that's how I feel. God is giving me another chance. My cancer came back, and this was like a jolt. Like, and now my life is at stake here. My physical life, even though I know I'm not the physical body, the real me is not this physical body. I'm a spirit, I'm a soul. Whether the body lives or dies, I'm going to be just fine. Nothing happens to the real me. But in this world, in the three-dimensional world, that's who we are. We're bodies. And I believe that this is how we create, and this is how we teach, and this is how we love, and this is a vehicle. So, I want to be here. I do want to be here because I feel like I definitely have a job to do. So I've been really contemplating that, and that's why when I decided not to do chemo, it was this strong feeling like that's not your way. That could be someone else's choice and someone else's path, and I'm not in charge of anybody else. I'm in charge of me. It's not for me. I didn't know why. I just knew that wasn't for me. And I still feel that very strongly, and that's not going to change, regardless of what happens. But I've been really trying to listen to what I'm supposed to do with all this. It's not just, okay, I believe God will save me, so I'll just sit on my ass and wait for God to save me. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. So coming back to what happened today, I realized that this is why the cancer came back, is because I really wasn't living my truth. And like I said, even though I still don't know exactly what it is, I had a flash of insight today. Like I said, I said in my previous, one of the other videos, that I've been lecturing in my head for a few years, just talking about life and I always feel like every person has a story to tell. Every person is interesting. Every person is unique and beautiful and has something to contribute. And I always felt that way about my grandmother, who I was very close to, my maternal grandmother. She was a great storyteller. I could listen to her for hours, and did listen to her for hours. And some of the stories were the same, but it didn't matter. She just had me captivated. So my message was, you need to start talking. Just start talking. Start recording. Talk about what? I don't know. Just start talking. Okay. I'm listening now, so I'm talking. I'm talking. So today, I was sitting downstairs, kind of been in a contemplative mood all day. Was sitting downstairs on the couch, eating watermelon. And all of a sudden, and this has never happened before, my grandmother came into my thoughts. And as if she was right there, I felt her presence. And she said, "It's time to tell your story. It's time." I heard it very clearly. She said it very lovingly, And it was out of the blue. It was really out of the blue. And I just kind of sat there and I kind of looked around and I'm like, did anyone else hear that? There was no one there. um, but it was very clear. So, and all of a sudden, after that, things just started coming into my head, like all these thoughts and all these visions. So I ran upstairs, and Mark just got out of the shower, and he's standing there in a towel in the bathroom, drying off, and I come rushing in like a crazy person with tears in my eyes, and I'm just like, something weird just happened, something weird just happened, and he just looked totally freaked out. And the first thing he says to me, is it good or bad? Just to be prepared. And I said, good, I think. And then I just started blubbering, and I just said, I just heard my grandmother. She told me to it's time to tell my stories. I said, I told you I've been I've been listening to this voice, not even so much, the messages just start talking. And I said, and it just became clearer, and I said, and you're a part of this. I said, you have to make a movie. I said, you have to make a movie about this. And I said, this is, you're involved in this. And I even told them, I said, you're going to make a movie about this, and you're going to win your Oscar. Because he's always told me, ever since I've met him, he's always wanted to be a screenwriter. And he said, I'm going to win an Oscar. I just know I am. And I just kind of went, oh, that's so sweet. He has dreams. And, that's, whatever. But I saw it. And I said, this doesn't make any sense. I don't know what I'm supposed to talk about. I don't know. All I know is this is going to happen. This is what I'm told to do. I'm finally given something definite. I'm finally given direction, clearer direction, I said. And I was in a state of like almost hysteria. I was shaking, I was crying. But I felt alive at the same time. Like, is this what I've been waiting for? Is this the clarity that I've been waiting for? Is this what I need to do? I don't know why. I don't know if I have to say what I have to say is of any importance to anybody. I don't even know if anyone will ever hear it. I don't know. I'm just being called to do this. And somebody who her whole life, the worst possible situation for me to have been is to have a camera pointed at my face or a microphone pointed at my face. Oh my goodness, the fear that sent through my body. I've avoided cameras and microphones my whole life. And it's just crazy to think that this is my path is to be a part of a movie or to tell stories, or it's just insane. And Marianne Williamson always says that when you ask God for direction, sometimes what you hear is very startling, and it makes no sense. And I think I understand what she's talking about now, because this really doesn't make any sense. And so he's, of course, like, crying and laughing and looking at me like, is she nuts? Do I call somebody? I don't know what to do. She's never done this before. She's wacky and all, but not this crazy. But, of course, as loving and wonderful as my husband is, he's like, okay, I will make a movie. That's fine. I can do that. I've done it. I can do it. Yeah, that's it. And I told him, I said, our souls are I can't say that word, intertwined. I think that's the right word. I've never believed in soulmates and stuff like that. I feel like there's plenty of people who you match with and all that. So It's not like there's just one person for you out there. I don't believe that at all. But I do believe people come into our lives for very specific reasons. And I feel like him and I have been brought together for very deep reasons, for both of us to grow and to evolve. And now I understand that the he is part of my fate, and I am part of his for sure. We are meant to do this together. And so he just said, okay, just start recording stuff. He's like, record this. You should be recording this. I'm like, I can't. So that's where we are. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And I don't have to know. But I see flashes of images in my head. And it's all good. And it's all good. And I feel like I'm going to be okay. I feel like I got it. I got it. I really do feel like this cancer thing is going to be fine. I really do. I do. I even see my oncologist, I even see her being interviewed for this movie and saying, I have no explanation for what happened. I have no medical explanation for how she got rid of cancer. I don't know. She told me she would, and I listened to her, and here we are. I see that scene. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I feel alive. I really feel alive. I feel incredible clarity, even though I don't have the details. I feel incredible clarity. So I'm going to go with it. I'm going to go with it. I'm going to stay open. I'm going to keep my heart and my mind open. I'm going to keep receiving messages, and I'm going to follow them, and I'm going to stay true and complete trust. 100% complete trust. That's all for now. Yeah, that's all for now.